Buonasera, siamo in compagnia di Giulia Kristeva, semiologa, filosofa, linguista, psicoanalista, una delle maggiori pensatrici della seconda metà del Novecento e della nostra età contemporanea. Vorrei partire proprio da questa idea di Europa e di pace e chiedere come la cultura europea, la cultura continentale dell'Europa che accomuna tutta l'Europa e la nostra identità europea e di europei, come può sposarsi con le culture nazionali e locali che ritroviamo in tutti i singoli Paesi membri.
Europe is in a crisis today, and it's supposed to be in a situation of deleting, which is of course very obvious for every European citizens. But in the same time, they are traditions, they are new movements, they are social sciences that can give answers to kernel questions of the modernity. The topics I would like to address this evening concern the notion of identity, the notion of nation, the notion of women, and also the notion of religion, and all those topics are European, from European heritage. They have been elaborated throughout European history, and they they developed during the history not as cults but as questions. And I will remember, I try to argue around a Nietzschean sentence and argument. Nietzsche says we have to put a great question mark to every important problems, the major problems, and those problems are identity, nation, femininity, sexual identity, and also religion. My idea is contrary to what happens even in Europe, but generally in this global world. I mean the resurgence of the cult of identities, cult of nationality, cult of regional identity, cult of sexual identities, and on the name of which there are a lot of crises and also fightings and wars. Contrary to this, Europe elaborated another notion of identity. The identity is a question. The identity is problematized. And I can give different examples from the tradition, particularly in the Jewish tradition, but also in Christian tradition. Let me quote just St. Augustine, in via in patria. There is one country, one patrimony, which is the road, which is traveling, which is questioning. And this also was, in a sense, embodied and put in practice through a very important movement that happened only in Europe and nowhere away, which is the movement of Enlightenment, who not only put questions on identities and national rules, but also put questions on religions. And as Tocqueville and Hannah Arendt said, the Enlightenment cut the links with the traditions, and on the basis of this cutting the links, we developed the freedom of thinking, freedom of developing social movements that liberated slaves, liberated poor people, poor classes, liberated women, children, and sexes. And this is a heritage of European culture that brings us to another attitude towards religions. We observe today a sort of appraisal of nationalities in Europe too, regions also, and religions, and not only some traditional radical movements in Christian religion or in Judaism, but particularly in Islam. But in the same time, it belongs to the European tradition to give us the means to interrogate and to accompany these radicalizations of identity. And I'm working in this direction particularly, and I'll speak about that also, because we have in the House of Adolescence in Paris, where we welcomed and accompanied adolescents in crisis, be they anorexic or depressive or vandals or toxicomaniacs. Now we have radicalized adolescents, and through appropriated psychoanalytic and social approach with themselves and their families, we have the possibilities to not to attack their religion belonging, but to question their wounds as desocialized persons. And this is also a heritage of the European culture. So we have to be proud of this legacy and to try to rebuild, to refound the European Union on the basis of this tradition.
La sua Lexio questa sera avrà luogo in una chiesa dedicata a Santa Giulia, che è annessa a un sito archeologico che di recente ha ricevuto la certificazione di bene patrimoniale dell'UNESCO. Come può la cultura tangibile, la cultura storica e stratificata che vediamo nei nostri monumenti in ogni singola città contribuire alla pace e al processo di pace in Europa?
One of the things that the European Union achieved to do, this undersizing, focusing on patrimonial heritage, but I think it's in a sense something that becomes a tourism and superficial visiting of archives. And the question now is how to integrate these visits, this tourism, into the interpretation of this heritage. It's not enough to be in front of the church and see how beautiful it is. It is interesting to know what is said about the feminine, the masculine, the life, the death in the Gospels. What is St. Julia? What is the virginity? And so on. We have to reinterpret the whole Christian heritage, the split of from this heritage, but also to go upstream and embrace the heritage and to reevaluate it constantly, because we have more and more means to this archaeological reinterpretation, because human science is developed from the basis of ethnology, sociology, psychology, and we are more and more able to see what are the promises of the religious heritage and what are also the dead ends, without annihilating and without worshipping only. This is something very important that has to be done in schools, in education, and also in media and so on. So this is a most important part for the intellectuals to do this. For our generation and yours, this is the big goal, not only to visit, but to know, first to make a knowledge, to integrate the data, and then to interpret them. But also it's an appeal for the politicians to integrate this heritage and its interpretation in the political projects, because otherwise it's something very superficial, fetishist, and not integrated into nowadays culture.
Una questione centrale nell'identità europea è la questione dei diritti delle donne. Secondo lei questa è una prerogativa dell'Europa, cioè che dall'Europa deve come dire, arrivare ad abbracciare tutto il mondo, o è una questione universale, cioè che si scollega dalla questione dell'identità europea e della nozione di diritto intrinseca nell'identità europea?
I don't think, like several feminists, that universalism is only a European question or European thematic. Yeah, I think it's a universal one. Yeah. Something, this break that happened in the Renaissance in the 18th century is a phenomenon which happened only in Europe, but it's spread out all over the planet, and it's a key component, a key attitude that we have to have try to develop, confronting the crisis of the humanity today. We don't have to be in the relativism, saying that in India there are such and such traditions that they will stop there. We have to give them other knowledges of the women, of the feminine and masculine, and discuss with them and try to enrich our own views through their heritage, but also to bring to them those notions of gender equalities, freedom, and so on. So this universality of humanism is something that we have to be proud more than now, and to try to transfer these debates not as dogmas but as points that are worthy to be discussed with Chinese or the Indians and so on. You mentioned Malala. She was free and she could resist Taliban's because she was in a school where she has been given different knowledges of universal history, different struggles of women during the centuries about their liberation. Her father was a teacher. When we gave her Simone de Beauvoir Prize, she was in a hospital. Her father came and took the prize for her. So this transition between our Western education, our Western values, and this man coming from his country, seeing how women are slaves, they are denigrated and oppressed, and giving her the courage to embrace our knowledges, our values, but to adapt them to her civilization. This is something very, very interesting. So there is examples like this all over the world, but I think our politicians that are so much focused on the economical and enterprise problematics will merit to be aware about that and to enrich their discourse with those problematics. Many people there are that are upset by the sort of disdain that they feel towards their culture, Orthodox culture, Greek culture, and so on, that are ignored and not taken in consideration. All those things have to be developed better. I was member of it's called Conseil social et économique in France. And I had to write a sort of report, draft on the French cultural politics and interculturality. And I suggested, but we have still to realize this and to put it in practice, that we build somewhere, maybe in France, maybe in Italy, maybe in Germany, an European Academy of Cultures, and with different chairs of history of religion or music or literature, etc., where people come from different countries. For instance, today it will be a French people, next year will be a Bulgarian or then Italian, etc., and try to see what is for them the European unity in the diversity of national cultures, and also to make a house of like Villa Médicis. Yes. For Villa Médicis for cultural, for European culture. Such kind of initiatives in order to make young people think about European culture, not only visit and forget afterwards.